All right. Next on the call, we've got Mr. Sawyer Fox. Sawyer has been with us for a little bit now, but the thing about life is it is not nothing is an overnight. There's no, 12-minute diet and 60-second weight loss plan. Things take time to progress. Things take time to get good at, to develop a skill set, to develop a desire, to want to develop a skill set, right? To see people you're around and learn from great people, and to put yourself in a position and environment to continue to thrive, learn, and grow. And Sawyer now has consistently now in the past 4 weeks submitted over $10,000 each and every week. He's also building a team. And last month, issue paid $26,000. Sawyer Fox how you doing, buddy?
Fantastic.
Good, man. Good to have you here. So I would love to pass it over to you for a second and just kind of tell your background, your story. You don't come from an aggressive sales position. You have no insurance background. You didn't go to Grant Cardone's University of car sales. You were a man who has developed everything that he is now succeeding at. And that is a respectable and commendable, but also a path that anyone can walk down. And your story is not unlike anyone else's in life who has made a decision to change his family's future forever. And I applaud you for that. But it's also one that I hope that others can learn from and be inspired by, that it's just a consistent amount of choices that you've decided to make to get better. And you're proving so, because $10,000 weeks, they're not crazy hard, but you don't just walk into 10 G's in 4 weeks in a row. And it's come from desire. But let's go all the way back. I'd love for people to learn more about you, who you are, and your story. Okay.
Okay. Well, glad to be here. Thank you for having me on. A little bit nervous.
Don't be nervous. You're good. You're good. You're good. Nervous is fine though. Nervous means you care. That's right.
And it's pushing me to grow. It's a
Amen.
challenge, something I'm not comfortable with. So as a little bit of background, I, in high school, dropped out due to an injury, had brain surgery, really didn't have a direction set for me. Okay. I struggled for a little bit, went off to Job Corps, went for welding, got into heavy industrial work. Okay. Right. So I started off working for the railroad originally.
There's a recruit is calling him right now to work with him right now.
Started off working with the railroad all the way through to my last job before coming here was being an industrial electrician. So super hard manual labor, anywhere from 10 to 36 hours at a time, and China can contest to that. So, this is nothing that I'm comfortable with, right? Kind of funny. I don't know if you actually know this. Me and China got introduced to Family First Life because of Jade. Shortly after your first convention, right? China was studying, and she was one of those recruits that was like, I don't know, it's going to take me like 60 days, 90 days. You know what? This isn't for me, and just fell off the earth. Right. And I was kind of raised in the insurance space, everyone from my grandpa on both sides up to my parents. I worked in insurance.
They did.
And getting up to, I think, like 20 years old, I was doing all this heavy industrial work. It was affecting my body, especially with everything else that has gone on. I kept being like, man, my whole family's been in insurance. What am I doing? I like what I do. I genuinely care for people. I would sacrifice myself and my family for the work that I was doing, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. These people weren't recognizing it. And, last year during COVID, China got laid off after our son was born. I went to my boss asking for help. He's a self-professed Christian man. He's like, yeah, we're not going to do that. So next week is going to be your last day. I was like, all right. At that point, China ended up coming to work with FFL as an admin. And I was like, you know what? This is it. Took a massive pay cut. We lost the benefits. We lost your pay. We're either going to go broke or we're going to go broke fighting. And this is where this opportunity is. So I came here. It took me a hot minute to really dive in. I learned a lot from a lot of phenomenal people here, and just took time to implement it.
Dude. So for some color, China is the head of, what is your title now? Head of lead acquisition,
talent acquisition, and information
systems. Yeah. I don't even know what that means. She does. Her and Jay basically run FFL America. I do some podcasts here and there and recruit people every once in a while, but China Fox is Sawyer Fox's wife and mother of his child. And now Sawyer is a dude. I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you.
And I mean, that story is one that's like many people's story. I'm backed up against the wall. And what do? Do I go find another job? Do I go move in with family? Do I beg for help from the government?
Right.
Or do I realize that there's a whole bunch of people that are developing themselves a skill set, which is, I mean, it's not like we're all juggling fireballs here with 7-ball and we've got to learn how to swallow knives. Like these aren't crazy skills we develop. Hey, right. Bob and Mary, you filled out this card. You said you wanted life insurance. Here's some options. Which one fits in your budget today? Right. But you know, the glibness at which I approach that with, it takes you a little bit of time to develop the courage and confidence and knowledge to know the products and knowledge to know, okay, that how it all works. So let's talk just a little bit more about that first year. So let's talk about, you know, what were you studying? Because you splashed and then you dried off and then you splashed and you dried and then now are you going to stay in the pool with us now? Are you in here?
Absolutely.
Okay. First. So talk about that process, right? About the coming and goings.
So coming here, it was pretty overwhelming, to be honest. So I was super overwhelmed having my wife work here and not really having daycare or anything like that. I thought I was doing my family justice by sacrificing my work for us to kind of stay where we were, right? I wasn't comfortable getting uncomfortable with my family to say, hey, this is the action that I'm going to take to get us to move forward, to get us to be ahead of the normal, right? So it took me 9-10 months to really notice that. And it came from conversations with you and Jordan Lowry and a couple other people. And I was like, man, I'm screwing up. Like I'm in a position now that if I don't do this and I don't succeed, this is irrecoverable. Right. So that process was very much back and forth. Right. I didn't feel like I had enough training. So I went to my old ways and pulled into myself. And I very deeply dove into underwriting, understanding products, which we all say not to do, right? Just go run your first 100 appointments and you're going to figure it out. We're going to be here to help you. But I wasn't comfortable asking for that support because of my situation, which took away my motivation to succeed. Okay. So I ended up pulling back to the point of going to work with Jordan Lowry to start recruiting.
Yeah.
Right. And in that process, I learned that I am here for the purpose of my family. Obviously, that's my why. Mm-hmm. I want to be beyond any of our wildest dreams with that. But the thing that keeps me here is the ability to teach people, show them a passion about what I do, and genuinely care. And you get paid stupidly well for it, right?
Right.
So speaking to all these recruits, I was really kind of teaching myself like, hey, you do believe in this. You can do this. You know a lot about this business, a lot more than the people that you talk with that are here, right? So once I started realizing that and getting exposed to more people, speaking to them, bringing value to our marketplace, essentially, I was like, all right, I'm here. Time is now. People are exploding. I'm like, Steph, Tope, like people are just blowing up. Why am I not doing this? So 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was like, all right, China, this is what I'm going to do. You know, kind of the same talk. We're either going to go broke with me doing this and I'm going to screw it up super bad. But if there's 6,000 people in your agency, they're contracted, I can't screw it up that bad. Just went for it.
I love it, dude. And then now so okay. So let's keep going. So what are you doing now? Buying leads. So let's talk about that. So it doesn't have to be like, the dramatic first purchase, but now What are the consistent habits which you've now put into your business?
Minimum $500 per dial day.
Okay.
Leads,
Which kind?
Typically instant internet leads.
Yeah.
If, here in Arizona, there's not a surplus in my backyard unless I'm going up to one of the corners, essentially.
Okay.
And if I'm doing that, it's taken away from my run days. So I'm typically going out for short spurts on travel trips, just wherever there's enough, which I quickly realized the area that these instant leads are sitting are very underserved. It's very poverty stricken areas. These people do need this coverage. So if you're going to these areas, you're not going to have consistently just massive sales and pulling out huge numbers, but a little bit of a lot is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you can go help 15 families in 2 days with small policies, they're happy. Smaller policies are easier to keep on the books and just sticking with that. So minimum $1,000 a week in leads.
Okay.
If I'm traveling, typically 1,500 to 2,000 in leads, just to give me a surplus. Let me know that, hey, I'm here. I have to work. Don't have the option of going back to how you used to be. Just having enough and just sitting there.
So these are huge principles that you've developed in yourself. And a lot of it is that leap of faith, like you look around, you're like, okay, all these people are doing it. Like I could probably figure this out. And because you'd had some success early on and then ups and downs, and now you're here. So one, great job, dude. But two, it's, how do you reflect internally? Like, how do you see yourself now from who you were a year ago?
Oh, 300% different. Just, I can't even put it into words. Like I'd be here, felt like I was working, and, in hindsight, I was doing probably 20-30% of what I should have been doing for myself or my family. And to really step back and realize, like, hey, you're really not servicing your family, and you're not going out and helping these people. That's a gut punch, right? So it was more than humbling. A couple very deep conversations, hurt emotions, mostly on my side. But it's pushed me to be a totally different person than I would have ever imagined that I would have been a year ago.
Do you think anyone can do it?
100%.
What do you think keeps most people from achieving success here?
A lack of willingness to bet on themselves.
Yep. So, and being a man now who's bet on himself, what were the things that, like, if you could pick one or two or three things that if I was your new agent or this group was your new agents, that you're like, if you just do these things and don't give yourself any excuse not to do them, what would those be to help so they could follow in your footsteps? Because, dude, you said we have 6,000 agents, which is true. 800 made money last month. That means 5,200 people got a license, got E&O, got fingerprinted, got contracted, fuddled through Insurance Bay, and then got their America writing number, and they're now actively choosing to not make money with us. And that is sad. I mean, that's an entrepreneur reality that most people won't push themselves hard enough. And so you're now an example of a man who made a decision to push himself hard enough to get over that hump.
Right.
So what if you were advising the 5,200 and all of them want it now? They're like, okay, all right, I'm like you. I had challenges. I had a background. I had stresses, but if he can do it, I can do it. What are the things that they can go do this week, today, and start to put themselves in a position to follow your path?
Just throw yourself into the most uncomfortable position that you can imagine.
So what are some action items? So, like, what are the things to do?
If, you're brand new, spend the money that you don't have in leads.
Okay.
We talk about that in different aspects across all agencies, right? If you have to get a credit card, do it.
Okay.
Put yourself in a position that if you don't work hard enough to do this and you don't take the steps to get out of that uncomfortable spot, which in reality, you're going to go back into it, you're not going to succeed. You're like, hey, I'm good with this. If this works, then I can stick around.
$200 worth of discount leads from 2 years ago. Are you going to book a couple of appointments? Probably. Are you going to book enough to get enough experience and success? No.
Which, I did that myself when I was first year. Prime example of it. So that's first and foremost. That's going to give you enough chances to set appointments, to screw up, to figure out where you're lacking and kind of what your style of speaking with people and connecting with people in the home to make this transition a lot easier. If you can find something that you can cling into that's comfortable, it's like your little life vest in that pool of uncomfortability, right?
I like that.
Or discomfort. So you're going to cling on to that, and it's going to push you to really drive your skills up.
Okay.
Your skills are going to take you to where Grady Polcyn is.
Okay.
Right. Next thing, if you think you're working hard and you're not helping a couple families a week,
Okay.
more than double down.
Okay.
Right. That's something that I didn't really take the time to do.
Do you have a minimum app count or a minimum house sit? Like, what are your minimums?
My minimums is essentially like my hours working.
Okay.
I have this really nasty habit of when I set like monetary goals or like, hey, I'm going to sit with 15 families, I'm shooting straight for that goal. Right. And if I don't hit it, that's taking away from my motivation. So my non-negotiable is if I'm out in the field, I leave the house if I'm here at 5 o'clock and I don't come home until after 10 p.m. Right. And that's
You're doing
what I'm
something.
good with.
I'm on the phone. I'm door knocking.
Yep.
I'm
Recruiting.
I'm recruiting. I'm working.
Yep. When I'm on a travel trip, it's, kind of the same deal. Get up if there's a gym, working out in the world by 5:30. And, I'm not getting back consistently until typically 11. Because I'm telling these people when I'm speaking to them on the phone, I'm only here for a couple of days. If I can help you, I'm going to. I'm coming out. Yeah, it's 9:30. I don't care. That doesn't gonna care. There's two things in life that are guaranteed: death and taxation. Right. So it's late, but you don't want to be too late.
Amen.
Right. That's really what my non-negotiable is.
I like that. I like that a lot. Because too many. I mean, if you make it all about 10K a week, which is great, right? At that time when it's just monetary, you may do something. You may push more than you should in a home. You may do something that probably you wouldn't make a choice instead of.
Right.
But if you make it more about just action, you do enough of the right action, you're gonna chip away the goo, and you're gonna just leave the statue. Goo covered statues, but you're gonna leave yourself in this position where you've developed and honed the skills, because as you continue to progress and take action, the mind goes, I just want to seek pleasure, and if I do this action and I get pain, I'm going to stop doing those actions that get me pain, and I'm just going to do the actions that get pleasure. And getting pleasure in our business oftentimes is conversion, whether it's converting agents to come over here and join us, or whether it's converting families to have the confidence that we've got the products to offer them. That puts us in a position where if that's what yields us pleasure, then we're going to do all these other background things to increase our skill set to acquire more pleasure.
Right.
And that's what you're doing from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you wonder why he's now making more money he's ever made in his life. So let's, as we conclude, what are Sawyer Fox's goals? Because I know you're building a team.
Yeah.
60 going ahead for senior sales manager, aiming for that logo this month. I want to know production and then agency goals for whatever metric you want to give us.
Yeah. So breaking the 30K this month.
Okay.
In issue paid business.
Awesome.
Okay. Going past senior sales manager, and I want to blow this thing up. Right. We've seen some people just come in and demolish goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to miss out on that. I missed out on the last essentially 10 months of being here. I got a lot of knowledge, but I'm not missing out again. So I'm just blow this thing up over the next year. By the time that my son's 3, I want to be a part of that integrity factor. Let's get a piece of that billion.
I like it. Well, sorry, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate your openness and willing to share. And I hope people understand that you could have chosen to go find another. I mean, just so we're clear, he wasn't an electrician just putting in outlets. Like, he was on high rise, like 100 feet in the air with wearing the yellow jacket and the hard hat and the whole, I mean, I'm not trying to not give credit to this incredibly difficult career, but you could have gone back to that.
Right.
And made some money and high risk, high chance of using the life insurance. Yeah. And now you protect families with it. And it's remarkable what you've chosen to do for your family. And it's all a subsequent series of choices of the correct choices to put yourself in a position. I mean, because you've been coming to the office, like, you're always here. You're here. And you're here learning. You're here learning through osmosis. You're getting around people. You're asking them questions. And that's a differentiating factor. We can those who are making excuses for where they are because there aren't enough leads at 20 minutes from my house, and my upline didn't answer the phone one time, and the training website is, I got to watch all these videos, all of them. Yeah, they're gonna teach you how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I would watch them 50 times. I've watched them 50 times. Why shouldn't it? Why should everybody, right? So it's a difference in choices. And Sawyer, it's commendable, remarkable, and we're excited to see what you continue to do here, my man. So thank you for joining us today.
Appreciate you.